IPPS-A leads the way.
IPPS-A.
One system, personnel, and pay.
IPPS-A.
21st.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this episode of the IPPS-A Podcast, where we give you updates on what's going on with the program. I'm Sergeant Major Gary Krese, the Senior Enlisted Advisor for IPPS-A Functional Management Division, and today we're joined by the new man, Sergeant Major Paul Smith, who come just this Friday, 8 September, will serve as my replacement. He's coming to us from HRC, Human Resources Command, Force Shaping Directorate at Fort Knox, Kentucky. Welcome, Sergeant Major Smith.
Hey, thank you very much for having me here. Honored and glad to be part of the team.
All right, and I know the team is glad to have you, Sergeant Major Smith. So, before we get started in anything, we got to learn a little bit about you, right? So, if you could, tell the listeners a little bit about your background, maybe any experience you've had with the system, or just kind of in general your path to get here.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess really, first off, I'm AG soldier through and through. Started out as a 75 Foxtrot, which was a personal information system management specialist. So, my journey in HR systems started in 98 at Camp Casey, Korea. And really, even before that in AIT, where we were learning how to do transactions and writing them all down, when I arrived at Camp Casey, we had this SIDPERS 2.75. It was a tactical Army combat computer system. It was known as a tax box. Back then, soldiers, we were required to verify transactions created by the units, make sure that they were accurate. And then we took these tapes and discs and flew them from Korea to Alexandria, Virginia, and St. Louis, Missouri, and these tapes had to go back and forth. Very daunting task for the HR community. It was very, very robust. So then, while in Korea, we had a change in systems. SIDPERS 3 came out, but this, although it was a little easier, things were still a little tedious, right? We had to do a lot of heavy lifting with pushing and pulling transactions and doing a lot of coding and everything, and the Army finally eventually moved to MilPay, which was a great system, but we just had to rely on too many systems, and the Army had to rely on a lot of systems. During my first stint at HRC as a Sergeant First Class, I was placed on the HRC IPPS-A liaison team, and really that was just designed to discuss the development of the new system. Our primary focus was trying to educate the command on the capabilities of PeopleSoft, really, not IPPS-A, because it wasn't really a thing at that point. And identify like the authoritative data sources, where things are coming from, how you were updating it, and just kind of being that liaison between the Human Resources Command and the IPPS-A team here in Arlington. During my second stint at HRC, I'm a repeat offender over there. I was a military schools branch sergeant major recently, and I helped develop, the PAR process, how that looked, how we're developing the UDLs and all that, and just assuring soldiers and also ensuring soldiers were selected for the academy to be properly aligned to assignments to Fort Bliss. So, really, it's just my experience as seeing the genesis of the HR system as a whole is really feel like why I'm here, and I'm excited to be part of the team again.
So I'm really glad that you hit on your most recent experience right at HRC. I think that's outside of your record prior to that being a 75 Fox, your background with systems, that recent experience, especially since Go Live, is incredibly relevant, right? At HRC, a key stakeholder, what Sergeant Major Thorpe, used to call the enterprise there, being behind the scenes, understanding, what it is that is going on, where actions are going, just such a key cog in the HR world, having that behind the scenes and being able to bring that here, share those experiences, and then help lead the team here into where we're going, I think is incredibly relevant and really just goes to show talent management at work. And the timing of you getting here and the things that you're going to do, which kind of leads me into my next question. Obviously, you and I understand the roles of a sergeant major, a senior enlisted advisor, but, as you've been prepping for this assignment and thinking about coming into it, have you thought about any, goals or priorities or things that you may want to get after, in your initial days and weeks here on the team?
Yeah, great question. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily have, a specific goal or priority coming in onto the team, but, I just know as someone that's witnessed several HR system changes, I just want to make sure that IPPS-A works as, it was intended, which really means, figuring out how we can streamline certain processes as well as be there for soldiers during this transition, right? Because, sometimes we feel like we're on an island as soldiers, and having senior leaders just being there to assure you like, hey, I've been down this road, things will get better. We just need to stick with it because this is really a great system. And I think what most should really understand is that not only is this the largest HR system transition, but it's really also an opportunity to relook the processes we've had in place for several decades. It's also going to be extremely important that we get MilPay right. Ensuring all of our hardworking soldiers continue to get the pay they deserve is absolutely paramount.
Yeah, I agree 100%. That is definitely one of the things that we've talked about with the HR community. One, owning MilPay, right? We are going to be taking over those roles and responsibilities and can affect our organization right now with MilPay entitlements and an understanding of those entitlements. But timely and accurate pay is definitely at the forefront of where we're going with HR modernization. So we talked a little bit earlier. You mentioned kind of when you came in, I came in as a 75 hotel, right? We sound like a bunch of grandpas out here, but fast forward all the way into 2023 and how we interact with soldiers now, right? So recently, you've already had an opportunity with the director, Colonel Lust, to interact with soldiers on a Reddit Ask Me Anything session with her. Where soldiers got to directly engage, with the program here, with the director, and it's an incredible opportunity as a soldier. So, just want to get your thoughts on that. What did you think of that process? What type of questions were you getting? Just talk a little bit about that experience.
I love that we have this many ways of communicating with the field, and I think it's amazing that the team here, with all the hard work that they are putting in, that they continue to find ways to try and be available to the field. And it's refreshing to know that we have so many avenues approach to getting questions answered. I challenge all soldiers to continue to use these avenues to give us feedback and get those questions answered.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like, it's a great experience and something that you may look forward to with future opportunities. But so that was your first experience using Reddit?
Yeah, that was my first experience on Reddit. I heard about it. People have suggested to take a look at, your organization to see what they're saying about you. But I'm just, again, I'm happy to see a platform that soldiers can use without the fear of repercussions, right? And I just, I'd like to ask, soldiers need to remember the discipline that has been ingrained in all of us, right? When we're using any type of social media. Knowing that IPPS-A is for the entire force, it's important we do everything we can to be available to the 1.1 million soldiers IPPS-A impacts.
Yeah, absolutely. Us as senior leaders in the HR community really have the responsibility to lead and understand where we're going with modernization, not just within the HR community, total force, of course, but it is incredibly important within the HR communities that we train our soldiers so they are a true force multiplier for everyone out there, soldiers, family members, civilians. It is super important. So I do appreciate you coming on, giving us a great intro. I know the program and the users in the field are in great hands. Before we end this, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment to really just say thanks to everyone and have a moment to reflect on what this organization has accomplished in these last 3 years. And, I've witnessed each and every day up front the amount of work and dedication that the team really has put in there. And I am purposely pausing there because it is no small feat what has been done and where this is going to take the Army in the future. This really is just the beginning of a multi-step process to modernize, as you mentioned, Sergeant Major Smith, the how we did business before and where we're going from old multi-use legacy systems that weren't always useful to now just one integrated personnel and pay system. So, I, again, have watched the team here put in an incredible amount of work, dedication, and effort to get this thing right and to get it to the field. It's a work in progress. It's going to continue to improve. And I know that it's going to get better, especially as I look at the leaders that are being put in place here to continue to carry that flag forward. I do want to challenge HR professionals, the listeners out there. This is your weapon system. Take it and run with it. Be proud of the work that we do. This is your weapon system. Become proficient. NCOs, I charge you. This is your weapon system, and training is your responsibility. The HR soldiers knowing how to use it, what to do, what the process is, that all starts with you. So I charge you here to make sure that your formations are properly taken care of through the training of your soldiers. And the last thing I'll say, share information. If you get updates, you get information, make sure to share it. Don't be the senior with the secret. We work better together. So really take that time, network, get to know each other. This is a people business, and now I'll close with that. The relationships, right? The relationships I've built, the things that I've learned in this position really, truly will last a lifetime. So thank each and every one of you that have played any part in what I've witnessed and been a part of for the last 3 years. So that's it for me. We don't get to pass a guide on here at the Functional Management Division, but if the listener can envision, I am passing the virtual guide on. Sergeant Major Smith, the team is yours. I look forward to the work that you're going to do, brother. I am incredibly excited, and I know that we could not have put this in better hands than yours. So congratulations, and it is all yours, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Sergeant Major Krese. So before we sign off, one thing I want to plug is IPPS-A's Customer Relationship Management Tool, or CRM. Remember, just like Sergeant Major Krese said, IPPS-A is a soldier system, and we want your input, the input of soldiers to make it better. The best way we can do this is to create CRM enhancement requests through the IPPS-A portal. So this ensures our team can track and hopefully resolve any issues you experience. But it's up to you to use CRM to let us know. IPPS-A, again, is our system. Although we have an amazing staff here, there are a lot of great ideas that come from them. Input from soldiers of all ways of life, not just the AG world, will only see to improve this amazing system based on the feedback we receive. So, all right, that's it for this episode. I'd like to personally thank Sergeant Major Krese. I've known him for a long time. We go back a ways. Everything he's done for this project. He was here for BOCO. He flipped the switch on this, and it's just there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. Again, I'm truly honored to be assigned to this great responsibility, this great organization, and be part of this program. Until next time, keep grinding out there and driving the change we need in our Army.
Right soldier, right job, right on time.
24/7, 365.